This year we have 3 additions to our top-of-the-line Black Panther range of snare drums, which is our high-end series of snare drums. And what's so special about these drums were they're artist-inspired snares. We designed and built them with collaboration with the 3 of our top artists. So the first one I'm going to talk about is this one. This one's called the Wraith, and it was designed with the drummer from Periphery, Matt Halpern. And what's so special about this drum is that aside from it's 14 by 6 inches, which is a pretty big drum, and it's also made of brass. But what's special is that you have 9 air holes in this. So although you have that very, very big, very, very cutting sound of a metal snare drum, the air holes dries it up. It means you have a lot of clarity, a lot of volume, but you don't have that big sort of ringy noise that you associate with metal drums. For example, you can go, and it's that very clean, very, very powerful attack. But when you go quieter, you still get a lot of clarity. You don't lose any clarity, even though you got at that volume, and that's to do with the holes. And what's interesting about the air holes is that they're arranged in the 3 circular shapes in a triangle, which is of course Periphery's band logo. So that's the Black Panther Wraith, designed by Matt Halpern. Moving ahead, this drum is actually the 2nd generation of Chris Adler's drum that Mapex first released. I think it was in 2006. And so the specs and the size are the same. It's still a maple and walnut shell, and it's a 12 and 5.5. But the upgrade of this over the original one is that the Warbird logo, the snare's called the Warbird. It's named after Chris Adler's personal logo. This is actually engraved onto the shell directly. It's burnt onto the shell. We use a very, very proprietary laser engraving system that puts the logo onto the shell. And it also has the new Soniclear bearing edge on it. And what this does is it gives, for such a small drum, I mean, it's only 12 and 5.5. For such a small drum, it has a lot of body to it. Like that, it has a lot more body than you expect from such a small drum. For example, it really pops. Like it's got that really cranky sort of snare effect, but enough body for it as a main snare, which is of course what Chris Adler uses on it when he's on tour with Lamb of God. So. That's the Warbird snare, designed in conjunction with Chris Adler. This is designed with Russ Miller, drummer of American Idol and all-round studio legend. And so from that perspective, it's designed for, the drum design is named the Versatus drum, which is named after Latin for versatility. It means you don't walk into the studio with 12 snare drums, you walk into the studio with 1. And what we tried to do was had a drum that was good at everything. In snare drum terms, it means that you have enough attack, you have enough controlled, you can control it at all volumes, but again have enough body, so if you need to really lay into it for backbeat work, it's the depth is still there. And this is actually really hard to get in the 1 snare drum. And so how we did it was it's a very unusual size. It's 14 by 4 and 5/8 of an inch. It's unusual because at that size you have the clarity and dryness of almost a concert snare, but at the same time you can control the overtones of a deeper snare to the extent that, to get that depth, you get the best of both worlds essentially. And how we also achieved that was we have a reinforcement ring on the snare on the batter side only. So what that does is it focuses the sound at the point of attack, but lets it breathe. So you have a lot of spread near the decay of the note. So you can play a very good backbeat, but at the same time, if you need something like a more delicate work, you can still get that too. You can get the full range of dynamics from the 1 drum. So it's a very versatile instrument. It's great for recording. Russ Miller played it on one of his latest albums, and every track had a different feel to it, but it was tracked with the same snare drum. So the first such a snare, Versata snare by Mapex, as part of the Black Panther range. As you can see, these 3 artist snares are in addition to our range this year from Mapex.